Hey everybody, good morning. Wednesday, March 11. Welcome to the Peachtree Morning Show, the morning game show, where you get to see whether Geshe, Michael, or Scott eats the most donuts, and where we talk about Ingwall, cause and effect. We talk about how to use the great ideas of cause and effect, come from some of the greatest thinking in the world, which is the DCI system, how to use those ideas to produce specific results in business and personal life, how to get success. And yesterday, Stanley and Allison from China talked about Isabel Baron and relationships. Today, we have a cool question from Zazie in Mexico City. Here we go, guys.
Hi guys, this is Zazie from Mexico City, and my question is about women's safeness. As you may know, this March 8 is the International Women's Day, and right now in Mexico, we're going through a big problem with gender violence. And I know this is a problem in many countries. I think the main problem is that women have been underestimated for a long time. So I have two questions. The first one is why women, and the second one is what seeds do I need to plant for see this problem disappear? Thank you.
Wow, great question, Zazie. Thank you, Mexico City.
And March 8th.
Yeah, that question came in last week, and so that was International Women's Day on Sunday, right?
March 8th, yes.
And it was like a celebration of all the political and social and other kinds of achievements of women around the world. Very cool. Congratulations, all of you ladies.
And we all think it's a very, very important question, right? This is something that women has been discriminated for so many years.
Yeah.
It's,
thousands of
years. Yeah. And we have the luxury, I think, in our generation to see this thing change. Changing it, there's a lot to do still, but the changes are big. So let's talk about, I'm interested to understand also what are the conditions that created this change from a seed point of view, and how can we accelerate this change that actually men and women are equal in the way that they get respect, wage, and promotions.
So Zazie had two questions. First of all, why women?
Yeah.
And secondly, basically what to plant.
What to do, how to fix it. Yeah.
Right.
How to make it equal on those levels. Of course, in many levels that we are not equal, but there are certain levels everybody should be the same.
Well, the story I like to tell about this is when I was younger, I had very long hair, like down to the middle of my back. And I can remember,
it was the 70s.
I was walking in New York City one day. It was dark. It was late at night. I was with my girlfriend, and we were walking down the street. I remember it was Greenwich Village, West Greenwich Village, a kind of a quiet, lonely part of the city. Mm-hmm. And some guys followed us. Some guys were following us, and they were yelling. They thought I was a girl.
Because you had the long hair, they thought
from the back
that you were
and before I had a buzz cut. And they started yelling at us and saying things, and we actually had to turn into a church courtyard and stand under a light or something. We were frightened. And the first thing I want to say, it was one of the most frightening things in my life. And then secondly, I don't think most of us have never had that experience. So it's funny. I suddenly in that moment, I got sensitized to what women have to put up with their whole life. And since then, I've heard terrible stories from women about much worse things. And so I guess first of all, men have never felt how it feels, and I don't know how to make them feel that, but that would be something.
That's interesting, and my father was not a chauvinist, really. Maybe that's because his mother was really strong, and my mom was really a leader in our family too. She worked really hard. She worked for the FBI. She worked for local governments, and she was very, very organized and productive. And so somehow in DCI, we would say I had the seeds to see something different. But Zazie's question is, they're having a
what
problem.
seeds did your mom have
Oh man.
to see you feel different about her? Or
Different about women.
Wow.
or what seeds does anyone make that makes other people not respect them equally? What is the seed to not be respected?
Well, then simple
equally?
cause and effect would be if I'm seeing that I'm not respected, I must be planting some small seed, maybe in some way that's really hard to even detect or I wouldn't think much of, which is creating a bigger
this
result.
is not being respected equally based on a silly thing.
Yeah,
you see?
yeah.
So sometimes you say you don't respect somebody because they are not intelligent enough,
Yeah.
or they have bad solutions.
Yeah, yeah.
But here we're talking about being not respected, being discriminated based on a gender, which is completely silly.
Yeah, it's really unfair.
So it's a form of racism, you could say.
It is.
Wow.
It is exactly a form of racism.
So what is the seed?
What's the seed to be the victim of racism?
Yeah, or discrimination based on gender, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's a hard
Yeah.
question.
And we see it. I mean, we see it not only to women. We see it also to gay community.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And people who are changing their gender.
Or different color.
But different.
Or
color.
different country.
When it comes to the
Or different religion.
the first question Zazie asked was why women. That's a pretty tough one. And when we were talking before we started recording
Yeah.
the show, and you were saying something I thought was really cool, that the seed to see men and women as different, that's a very basic thing
I have
to
this
begin with.
fantasy. I have this fantasy idea, and it's hard. But I'm imagining a country long ago, maybe on a different world, where
In a galaxy far, far away.
everybody has their ears are slightly differently. I mean, we don't talk about it. We talk about it in the jewelry industry because earrings are made to match your ears, and we actually talk about that a person's left ear is always different from their right ear, a tiny bit. Maybe it's higher, lower, different shape. So I imagine sometimes a whole culture, where if your left ear is bigger, you get respect.
Oh, wow.
And if your right ear is bigger, you're low caste. You're lower caste.
Wow.
So then I imagine, why don't we have that discrimination in our culture?
Wow.
Nobody says, Reed, your left ear is bigger, right?
You know something? I got to say, I'm sorry, I got to tell this story.
Okay.
I was in Catholic grade school from first, second, and third grade, and then my mom put me in public school, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Long story. Mm-hmm. My sixth grade teacher, Mr. Peterson, I still remember him really well. We're in a neighborhood that's all a bunch of white kids, and so he was determined to teach us about discrimination. So he said, on this next day, everybody with brown eyes is going to sit in a different part of the classroom, and he didn't tell us what's going to go on.
Crazy.
And I have brown eyes, and so I and about 6 or 8 other kids all had to sit in the back of the classroom, and he scared the hell out of us. He treated us really badly, yelled at us
That's
if we
so
did
smart.
I was so scared I went home crying, and I told my mom I didn't want to go back to school after lunch. And then he made us stay after school, and we were all terrified. And then when all the other kids left, he said, okay, I'm going to take you guys out for ice cream and to explain what happened. It was just so impactful. I'm getting emotional now even thinking about what he did. It really freaked me out. So I feel like I had a tiny little taste of what it feels like to get discriminated against.
Based on a silly thing.
Based on a stupid
something
little thing.
Yes, it's something super stupid. So I first let me show me your eyes. It's
You know what color
I
my
didn't know they were brown. I can't be with you.
mine's are
We were talking though about why I think, and this is kind of an answer for Zazie, which is that our mothers. I mean, we are not free of male prejudice. If you think you're free, you have it deep.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting that I'm somehow not sometimes prejudiced in some...
I'm going to use it at home.
Thank you.
But I think we have less than some people. And I think it came, in my case, I think about my mom. My parents got divorced. My mom was the father and the mother. My mom was the person who made the money.
Yeah.
My mom did make all the decisions in the family. My mom disciplined us. So I think if you're lucky as a man, you get to see a woman who's got real authority or who's really not the lower person in the family.
And has integrity and demonstrates leadership.
Oh, and my mom was very, very free of prejudice, racial prejudice or country prejudice. She was very free of that. We had black people living in her house on and off, and we had friends, Jewish friends, closest friends, and we didn't have, we were brought up not to have that. So I guess, Sazi, in a conventional sense, to just be a good example for your kids of not showing what you call stupid discrimination.
Yes.
Yourself. And then you change your seeds, and you're helping another person to not feel those kinds of discrimination, would plant the seeds to see your country change.
Right, okay. So basically, the reason that we see this stupid discrimination is because we, in some way, we are maybe doing it to other people from, we said that there are three kinds of people that they are vulnerable. It's women, kids, and old people. So where do I, discriminate maybe the kids or old people or other women? I've seen the women sometimes.
Yes, sometimes women are the worst.
Yeah, they discriminate other women.
So I have two questions for you guys.
Based on stupid things, right?
Number one, what small discrimination have I done in my life to see these stupid kinds of discrimination? A. And then I have another question, because in our lifetime, in me and Scott's lifetime, the attitude towards women, the rights of women, the economic rights of women, the attitudes towards women who've been the object of sexual abuse, these are changing radically in our lifetime, even in the last 5-10 years. What's the cause of, what was the first question? What's the little thing I'm doing?
That's changing also.
Well, yeah. So what's the little thing I was doing to cause it? And why is it changing now?
I think, if we plant seeds to constantly support a new movement of non-discriminating anybody based on silly things, then we are planting seeds to see this thing change, and probably within 5 years we see it getting more revolutionary. We thought the 70s were revolutionary toward women, right? But we thought, oh my God, we did so much in the 70s, but look now, it's even way better, way bigger.
So two questions.
Oh, sorry.
What was the small seed? What's the small seed?
To see that kind of discrimination?
Yeah.
I'm going to take it to a generic level. Like, it's not specifically about men or women. I think I see that discrimination, that prejudice, that judgment because of the judgments I make on other people, and I do it all the time.
Wow, they're in trouble.
I know. But here's what you might say is a really easy way to find a cause. I judge people who don't know as much as me about certain things. Sometimes I just I dismiss them. I brush them off. I think they're stupid because, let's say, they don't know as much about video production as I do, or something else that I happen to know a lot about. And so my choice, my belief that they're somehow less, causes me to see a big problem in the world, like discrimination against women.
Okay, so I discriminate somebody because they don't know about the area that I think it's obvious you should know about this, and I said they're stupid. And I dismiss them because, let's say, they don't know about seeds, right? So I said, if they don't know about seeds, they're stupid, then I dismiss them completely.
I tell myself I make small stories about people I see on the street or in the grocery store.
Without knowing anything.
No, I know nothing about them, and I make stories about them. And then it has happened to me that I found out this person was an astrophysicist, the owner of this cafe. I found out he's one of the most famous astronomers in the country, and he was just pouring coffee. I made a story about him. All he knows about is to pour coffee.
Okay, we're going to need a wrap.
So I'm saying little seed, making up these stories about other people that you really don't know anything.
Right.
But I'd still like to answer, why are we seeing this radical? We're seeing a pretty radical change in the United States. Where men who have been abusive towards women, famous men, big men, rich men, now they're one of them went to jail last week.
Right.
The only answer is I'm seeing that change. I'm seeing that shift because I'm trying to study how seeds.
I give opportunity to people maybe that I didn't give opportunity in the past.
I was going to say
Right.
because I'm studying how seeds work, because I'm trying to understand how things work, I'm seeing a change in the way other people are treated.
Well, I become more open to other people, other way of thinking, I think that's the seed.
We got to wrap it up into practical steps and tips. We're at that point, guys.
Make fewer silent judgments of other people.
Don't judge other people.
Silently. Don't write stories about them.
Yeah.
You know what's really fun? A positive seed? Write amazing stories about them.
Okay.
In your head.
Change the story because what you're saying that when we meet somebody, automatically we make a story about them.
Yeah.
It's
based on their appearance.
Based on their appearance, based the way they look to us. So try to make those stories positive.
Yeah, make up a beautiful story.
It's like the writing epics.
Because it's a story anyway. We don't know if it's true or not.
In DCI, we have this thing we call writing epics, where you see somebody that you judge, and you decide to flip it and write a superhero story in your own mind about them, like superhero, like that person's really tired in the office because they were up all night, saving the planet or something like that.
So number one,
make stories, but make extreme beautiful stories.
Yes.
Don't discriminate other people based on stupid things.
Try to be a good example for your children, because she has two beautiful children.
Right.
And be an example of how what kind of, how do you want, if you have a boy or a girl, how would you like them to treat other women, especially if it's a boy, right?
Wow.
And if it's a girl, how do you want other people to treat her? What kind of level of confidence you're raising them with, right?
Okay, cool.
Great.
And I would say engage in activities that promoting people that they are considered to be vulnerable, right?
Minorities.
Minorities.
Social, religious, racial.
Yes, gender.
Yeah, it's like how to take the person who's the most meek, the most introverted, the most overlooked, and try to raise them up. Just do some little small action once a day or something like that.
And you're saying that would change the whole country?
I'm saying small seeds make big results. You just make a little shift in your daily habits, and it changes dramatically what you see around you in the world.
I think that's one of the most beautiful things about the seed system, is that any one of us, because seeds create our reality, we do have power to change the attitude towards women in our country.
Cool.
Each one of us has the power.
You can do it, Zazie.
All
nice
of us
question.
can do it. All of us.
Especially Zazie. She's so strong.
You're pretty cool. Mexico City crew. Okay, guys.
Okay, next
And
question.
then maybe we will have a week of international week day.
Women's Week.
Yeah, Women's Week. Not
International
only one day.
Women's Decade. How about that?
And by the way, I don't think this question is finished.
We're not finished with that.
And I think
For Scott, the International Women's Day is
we
lifetime.
want you to use this.
This is my International Women's Lifetime.
We want you to use this plate.
Okay, guys, so here at DCI, use this plate to send your questions to seedquestions@diamondcutterinstitute.com. That's seedquestions@diamondcutterinstitute.com. And send us your 30-second selfie video, like the one we're about to show you from Luisa in Germany.
And by the way, if you don't think this question is finished, then ask another question about it.
Yeah, we can build on these questions. Feel free to throw something in about something you heard us say, or an addition to the question. 30-second vertical selfie question video, send to seedquestions@diamondcutterinstitute.com, and we will use it on the show. And now we have, I'm getting the kick from Arit under the table. She's like, okay, let's move it along. So Luisa, a lady from, is it Colombia?
Colombia, living
in Germany. Here we go.
For tomorrow.
Hi, my name is Luisa, and this is my question. I have the problem that I start many projects or I start things, but I don't finish them. And it applies also for karmic projects with the 4 steps. I start very motivated, but then I give up after some time because I don't see the results. And my question is, what are the seeds I should plant to stop starting and start finishing? And also, what are the seeds I should get rid of with the 4 powers to kill this bad habit? Thank you.
Okay.
Wow, I'm going to make a t-shirt that says stop starting, start finishing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, you heard it here. Ingwo, cause and effect. on the Peachtree Morning
Thank
Show.
you, guys.
And believe it or not, there's still some donuts left. Have a great morning. See you next time on the morning show. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.